Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Morty and Glory video. In today's episode, we continue to cast our analytical eye over the 10th edition Imperial Guard Index. This time, taking a look at everyone's favorite cogboys, the Regimental Enginseers. These devout servants of the machine god are responsible for making sure that the vast armadas of fighting vehicles for the Astra Militarum are kept in working order. Without them, our vast fleets of fighting vehicles would ground to a halt. They are a vital part of the Imperium's war machine, and any good guard commander knows to covet the favour of the Regimental Enginseers. But how does all of this translate onto the tabletop? Are these cogboys any good, and should you consider them for your army lists? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let us unlock the secrets of the machine and dive right into today's episode. As is tradition, let us begin with a brief overview of what the hell the Regimental Enginseers actually are. In the lore, they are members of the Adeptus Mechanicus who have been seconded to Imperial Guard Regiment. This makes for quite an interesting dynamic, and there's lots of potential to forge the narrative with your Enginseer models. Because on the one hand, they are Techpriests, and first and foremost, they're loyal to their priesthood. But on the other, they spend a huge amount of time fighting and working alongside guardsmen, and most soldiers have nothing but respect for the Enginseers. When you see one of these guys wade through a hail of autogun and lasgun fire to get a tank up and running, and then that tank saves your ass, you're going to have a lot of time for the Enginseers. In terms of their tabletop performance, they've always been a really solid unit. I remember doing tactics videos on these guys back in 7th edition, and I said they were a hidden gem. And you know what? I'm giving a bit away here, but I still think that is the case today. I think the reason that they're solid is because unlike with units like the Commissar and the Preacher, where GW kind of struggles to know what to do with them and how powerful to make them, the Enginseers have got one job, and they just need to do that job well to be effective. They need to make sure your vehicles are being repaired and that they're sticking around for as long as possible. And like I said, they stick. For the stat line, we've got a movement value of 6, T4, a 3+ save, 3 wounds, Legion 7, and 1 OC. This is pretty bloody impressive by guard standards. He is tougher than your average officer, and he's actually rocking a 3+ save. That is the same save as Strachan, that's the same save as the Lord Solar, and to top it all off, he's even got a 5+ invulnerable save as well. I don't often say this about guard characters, but this guy is actually durable. Sure, many Marine players watching this will be laughing because they're like, it's an intercessor with an extra wound, but by guard standards, that goes a long way. And we have to remember, gentlemen, that guard characters are particularly susceptible to precision weapons. A volley of sniper rifle fire will easily take out your platoon commander, easily take out many of your other junior officers, and even some of your senior officers as well. Techpriest actually has a decent chance of surviving some sneaky precision fire. However, don't get high on the smell of your own incense, because I don't want anyone suddenly thinking if they stick a Techpriest Enginseer in a squad, that thing's going to become unkillable. They're still a guard character at the end of the day. They're still barely able to go toe-to-toe with the line infantry of other factions like Marines. And if someone decides to use the epic challenge stratagem against the Enginseer, he's probably going to meet his clockwork god sooner rather than later. But now let's move on to the weapons. What kind of heat is this guy packing? First thing to mention is he has a fixed loadout. You can't swap his pistol out for something else or his axe out for another weapon. He comes with the Archaeotech pistol, the Enginseer axe, and the server arm, and that's all you're going to get with him. Okay? But it's not too bad because at least all of these weapons are actually pretty good. Starting off, we've got the Archaeotech pistol. Now, it straight up has devastating wounds, so if you get a 6 to wound, it becomes a mortal wound. It's range 12, it's only 1 attack, but it is a ballistic skill 3+, and a whopping strength 6. Where this gets let down is it's only AP 0 and it's only damage 1. In the past, this guy came equipped with a las pistol, and so when you look at this, you might think, whoa, huge upgrade, amazing. The realistic impact on the battlefield from this is very minimal. Essentially, he still has that las pistol, but now it's strength 6, and maybe 1 in every 6 times you fire it, it's going to do a mortal wound. Hey, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I don't want you thinking this arcade pistol is suddenly going to be toppling Primarch single-handedly. It's a cool little gimmick, it's nice, maybe once every so often it'll actually do something, but don't be relying on it for any serious damage output. The same cannot be said about his melee weapons, where the Techpriest is somewhat a threat. Straight up, we've got the Enginseer axe. This is 3 attacks at weapon skill 4+, strength 6, AP -2, and 2 damage. On top of this, we have the servo arm, which is extra attacks and basically gives you the same profile, strength 6, AP -2, 2 damage, but it's just 1 attack. This is really cool for loads of reasons. Firstly, I like the fact that the Techpriest is stronger and deadlier in combat than a lot of human officers. It just is a subtle way of showing how augmented this guy is and how separate he is from your standard guardsman. And on top of this, the servo arm is actually good now. Previously, Techpriest got 2 attacks and they could do 2 attacks with the axe, or they could do 1 attack with the axe and 1 attack with the arm. Now, not only are they getting more attacks overall, but they're also getting the servo arm on top of that. It's brilliant. What I love about this is how sneaky it is. It feels like a hidden power weapon. And I can easily imagine opponents underestimating this. Imagine the following scenario. You're playing against someone who's using intercessors or their equivalent, and they're like, right, I'm going to jump out, hose you down, then charge you, and over the course of the combats and everything, I'm easily going to beat up that squad of 10 to 15 guardsmen, no problem whatsoever. And what happens is, they hose you down, they charge in, and they start getting into the grind, and then your Techpriest gets to start swinging. And suddenly, that fight is no longer a sure thing for opponent. If anything, they might need to start diverting more resources. It's a bit of a curveball. It could catch your opponent out, and when that happens, it means your opponent's got to adapt on the fly, and that very much could give you the opportunity to seize the initiative, start taking the fight to them. And the crazy thing is, the Techpriest is already lining up to be a very good character, and we've not even got to the main bit yet. We've just been eating the starter. Now it's time to get to the main course. Because as with any guard character, main reason you take them is their ability. And praise be to the Enginseer, because he's got some pretty good ones. To start off, he is a leader and he can join all sorts of units. Any of your battle line squads plus Kazakin plus his own Munitorum servitors. Little side note here, but if you add a Techpriest to a squad, you can then also attach the Munitorum servitors to that squad as well. That's crazy. So you could technically have a squad of 20 guardsmen, attach, let's say, a platoon command squad, for example, which would give you 25 guys in the squad, and then you could also attach a Techpriest with his attending servitors that all comes in together, and you would have a 30-man blob of guard. That is pretty chunky and definitely not something you should overlook. But perhaps you're a bit of a purist. Perhaps the narrative behind your Enginseer is he doesn't like associating with the filthy organics. If that is the case, don't worry, you're not going to be punished. GW have given you a rule to allow this guy to be a lone operative whilst he is within 3 inches of a friendly vehicle. It's the Enginseer rule, and it's very, very good. Because it means you don't need to embed this guy in a blob of infantry and essentially pay some sort of like hidden tax to keep him alive. He can happily sit next to a vehicle, and he can't be targeted with snipers, and he can't be targeted with indirect fire weapons because he gets lone op. And you're going to want this guy hanging around your vehicles, because let me tell you, this next unique ability is going to blow off your little tinfoil socks. It's called Omniseer's Blessing. In your command phase, select one friendly Astra Militarum vehicle model within 3 inches of this model. That vehicle model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Now, if I just stopped there, that would already be a brilliant ability. Being able to regain wounds on your expensive and yet vital vehicles, amazing. But guys, there's more. If you weren't already a one-man A-frame, you're about to become one. Because also, it says, and until the start of your next command phase, that vehicle model has a 4+ invulnerable save. That is bonkers. That is genuinely mind-bogglingly good. But wait, there's more. Because somehow this guy's bringing 3 abilities to the table. I think every other basic guard character that I've seen is lucky to have 2 and an invulnerable save. Sometimes you get like 1 and the invulnerable save counts as your other ability. This guy's rocking 3 abilities and an invuln. What an absolute mecha chad. His last ability is very, very cool. It's not that powerful, but it's very, very cool. Vengeance for the Enginseer. If a friendly Astra Militarum vehicle model is destroyed within 12 inches of this model until the end of the battle, this model's Enginseer axe has an attack characteristic of 6. Basically, if this guy sees a single sentinel die in front of him, he loses his mind and goes berserk. It could be any vehicle. As long as he's within 12 inches of it, he's going to get pretty bloody upset about the whole thing. And 6 attacks, plus the server arm, so 7 attacks. At strength 6, AP-2, 2 damage. We're starting to get very choppy. Bear in mind, there's nothing stopping you combining this guy with orders. If he's in a blob, if you tell him to fix bayonets, he hits on a 3+. Bearing in mind that if there happens to be a unit of Catachans, which he can join, he's going to have an extra strength and an extra pip of AP if that unit charges. I know I said that guard characters shouldn't really be relied upon for damage output, and I still think that the Enginseer probably will get torn to pieces if he goes into a really dedicated combat unit like Berserkers or something. But 7 attacks at strength 7, AP-3, damage 2, that's really good. That is a threat to a lot of units out there, and gives you the first inklings, the first potential of proper combat guard. Well, at least that's what I think. But of course, all of this is just like my opinion, man. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. How would you rate the Enginseer out of 10? And what spicy combos can you come up with to really get the most out of this guy? Of course, as always, if you've enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. And I just want to take a moment to say a massive thank you to all of the channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. You truly are the lifeblood of the channel, and I couldn't do this full time without you. And I want to take a moment to say a special thank you to all of my top tier supporters. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So thank you so much to Alan Blunt III, Amy DeSweet, Bonbon Vert, Ken Starr, Mark Panconi, Ross Miller, Swordfish Trombone, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Varney. Once again, guys, thank you. Genuinely couldn't do this without you. Your incredible and generous support just makes a huge, huge difference. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Thank you for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.